Hi, everybody. This is Saad. As many of you know, kids today are not doing as well on some standardized tests in mathematics, in reading. And so, scholars in education have settled the science when it comes to how do we get, first of all, children to develop a reading discipline so that they can carry for the rest of their lives, that they could love books, love reading. How can they be better readers? How can they have greater reading comprehension? And the science came in, it's settled. If you have drag queen reading hour, that greatly improves reading comprehension. Now, there's an additional element that really helps kids better learn how to read, and that's if the drag queens are also twerking. You add twerking to the drag queens, and you basically are developing future Einsteins. So that's number one. That's settled science. Number two, in marketing, we know that, you know, of the many sort of introductory lessons in marketing, the concepts of targeting and segmenting a market are, you know, some of the first lessons you learn in marketing. Well, Budweiser had the brilliant idea of, okay, they want to revitalize their brand, they want to reposition their brand, they want to be more hip. Their brand was stale, and therefore they decided, let's go out and grab the very alluring, the financially alluring, the sizable 0.001% of the market, the transgender market, beer drinkers, right? And in doing so, alienating the 99.99% of beer drinkers by, calling them, frat boys, obnoxious frat boys, is a great strategy. And the way you demonstrate that is by getting, I consider her to be one of the truly, beautiful women alive today, Dylan Mulvaney, as the spokeswoman, has proven wonderful. This is good marketing strategy. So, number one, twerking drag queens improve reading comprehension. That's just settled science. Number two, going after zero point zero 0.01 or 0.001% of a market is a good idea, even if it means then alienating the other 99.99%, because in business, it's not just about, pursuing profit maximization strategies. In this case, you're demonstrating that you're inclusive, as the VP of marketing had demonstrated. She's now on leave, probably rethinking some of her marketing acumen or acuwomen, whatever the right politically correct term is. But recently, we have a third super brilliant. So, in the old days, antiquated days, you used to think, well, you want your Navy SEALs, you want your sailors, your warriors to look a certain way, to act a certain way. And therefore, if you're going out using a recruitment strategy to recruit, Marines and soldiers and Air Force pilots and Navy SEALs. By the way, I had the Navy SEAL from Team 6 who killed bin Laden on the show, Robert O'Neill. And so he would probably completely agree with what I'm about to analyze next, which is the Navy has come out with a new. By the way, I'm not being satirical. I'm being literal. You could look it up. Has come out with a new recruitment strategy involving a drag queen doing all sorts of dancing, which is a wonderful idea, because what you're demonstrating then is that, the Navy is not just made up of these hick kind of traditional, warrior type guys. That's not what we're going after. We want to demonstrate that in the Navy. By the way, the Village People, for those of you, if you remember the Village People, you know what I'm saying? The Village People have a song, In the Navy, right? So, boy, were they prophetic. So, you want to attract people to come into the Navy. You do that through the marketing genius of demonstrating that in this Navy, the new Navy, it's inclusive, it's diverse. You want Navy SEALs to live their full truths. So what? One day they could be dropped in Islamabad or Lahore and kill a terrorist. The next day, they are at a drag show twerking. The same person. That's what you want in a Navy SEAL. And people who disagree with that are exactly the type of, bigoted, small-minded folks that we don't want in the new revamped military. So this is exactly what happens when minds are parasitized. Everything now is drag queenized, right? So next you're going to have, are you looking to come and become an oncologist and then you see a drag queen twerking? Are you looking to go into dentistry? Twerking ass drag queen. Are you looking to become a lawyer? Zoom in on the drag queen twerking, because each of these professions benefit from an infusion of drag queen twerking, and none more so than the traditional, sexist, patriarchal, toxic, masculine Navy. You don't want Navy SEALs that are trained to kill. You want Navy SEALs. You see the Taliban coming at you from in Waziristan? Oh, sure, you could go after them with guns. Or you break out into a drag queen twerking song and dance, and then you diffuse the situation where it's a competition of twerking. Therefore, you've pursued a pacifist strategy. You've created an inclusive environment in Waziristan. Everybody twerks. Who doesn't love twerking? By the way, we know that the Taliban were into the Bachi boys, right? You like that link? Look it up. Look up Bachi boys. Who are we to judge other cultures? So what you're doing by drag queenizing everything, you're creating a more compassionate world, a more inclusive world, a world built on positivity. Unlike, guys like me who criticize this stuff. That's negative. So we have all these guys that are promoting bro science, this big tent of inclusion. They don't criticize anything of substance. The world is going to hell with these parasitic ideas, but they are positive because they teach you how to, breathe better and how to, blink your eyes better to have better meditation and so on and so forth. So we don't want that kind of world. We want a world where everybody feels seen, everybody feels welcome. And if the Navy is going to truly reach its maximum potential, remember, in the Army, it used to be all that you can be, right? The ultimate self-actualization motto. What better way to be all that you can be? Most of us, deep inside ourselves, just do a Freudian analysis. We all want to be drag queen twerkers. I know I do. But I've never had the courage, to go in as a professor and teach my students through twerking. But imagine if now Fierce Sally were to come along, twerking. Could you imagine how evolutionary psychology, psychology of decision-making, consumer psychology would all come alive under a tent of inclusion? I'm doing my best, people, for many, many years now. Join the fight. Don't sit idly. Speak up and defend those and support those who are taking all the risks so that your children don't grow up in an insane asylum. Take care, everybody.